Good afternoon. Welcome back, dear students of second year English Literature, Government College, Chaksu. Today, again, we shall be continuing with the Lord Byron's poem, There is a Pleasure in the Pathless Woods. I hope you have gone through the earlier videos and the poem and what the poet is trying to say in it is clear to you by now. And now we shall continue with the fifth stanza. It is there on your screens before you. Once again, I have highlighted the difficult terms and words. I'll quickly read through the stanza and then we shall analyze it in detail. Thy shores are empires, changed in all save thee. Assyria, Greece, Rome, Carthage, what are they? Thy waters wash them par while they were free, and many a tyrant since their shores obey the stranger, slave, or savage. Their decay has dried up realms to deserts, not so thou, unchangeable, save to thy wild waves play. Time writes no wrinkle on thy azure brow, such as creation's dawn beheld, thou rollest now. So, here the poet talks about the shores of the sea, the shores of the ocean, which gave birth to many huge empires, many strong empires, and he says that these empires came, these empires went, they reached to great glory, they reached great heights, and at the same time, when the time came, they were destroyed as well. So, in the first line, you see, thy shores are empires. Now, thy shores, again, this is reference to the seashore, the seaside, and he says, your shores are empires. Why empires? It's the shore that, it's the seaside where the cities come up. As I had explained to you earlier, that being near the sea is always beneficial and it helps in many ways, and many cities, many empires are built up across the shores of the ocean. So here he says that your shores are empires because empires are built here. Huge empires are built here, and during various periods you can see that at different times different cultures, different cities, different kings have built up their their rule on the seashores. And he says that it is always beneficial to have a city next to the seashore because it gives you easy access to seafood, it gives you access to easy travel, and the all the resources that the sea has to offer can be exploited by man. And at the same time, commerce and trade again is extremely easy because, as I had mentioned earlier, that the sea route is supposed to be the cheapest. So, to go across the sea from one place to the other, to carry goods, to exchange goods, to indulge in trade and commerce, always is beneficial for the empires. So he says, thy shores are empires, changed in all save thee. Now, changed in all save thee, these empires are not permanent. This is what the poet is trying to say, that they are built today, they do aspire to great things, they do attain greatness, they do become very powerful, but at the same time, when the time comes, they are destroyed as well. And it is the power, it is the ocean itself that has the power to destroy these cities. Now, this is not something hyperbolic, because even in the recent times, you have seen that you have the tsunamis, you have the huge storms building up in the sea waves, and there are complete cities, there are the seasides that are completely destroyed. So this is not an exaggeration, because even in the present times we have seen so much of destruction has been done by the waters of an angry ocean. So this is what he's saying, and then he goes on to give example of the different cities, the empires that have had come up Like, for example, Assyria, he's giving the example of Greece, he's giving the example of Rome, Carthage. Now, these had reached their zenith. They were very powerful. But what happened to them ultimately? They no longer exist. They were destroyed. And what about the oceans? What about the seas? They are still present in all their glory, in all their beauty, in all their power. They still exist till today. Whereas these empires are no longer there. They have been destroyed. So you can say that the poet, he is admiring the great strength of the sea, and what he is trying to emphasize is that man is helpless before the mighty power of sea, and the waves of the ocean are powerful enough to destroy entire humanity. And this he justifies by giving examples of these countries, of these empires. And he says that many a times the sea has shown its power, and he's specifically talking about the Mediterranean Sea, where these mighty empires were established and they flourished on the shores of the sea. And the poet gives examples, and he says that the ancient culture and civilization which had reached its peak, which had made such a mark, are no longer there. They do not exist anymore. But on the other hand, if you look at the sea, it is still there in all its beauty, in all its glory. It still exists, and it exists completely unchanged. So he says that when the time was right, when the time was ripe, these countries, they did their business, they did their trade through water, and they flourished. But with passing time, it was the sea that destroyed them, and their independence also vanished. So he says, thy waters washed them power while they were free, and many a tyrant since their shores obey. Now he says that your waters, they washed them power means they brought them power. How? Because it was through trade, it was through commerce, which was done through the sea route, and as a result of that, these countries became so powerful. So it is your water. It is your water that allowed them to become so powerful. And he says, at the same time, there were many tyrants also. Tyrants, this means despots. This means those rulers who are autocratic, okay, who are cruel, who are single-mindedly, only there to attain power, without bothering about the well-being of the ordinary man. So he says that many a tyrant since their shores obey, the stranger, slave, or savage, their decay has dried up realms to deserts. Now he says that he's referring to the barbarians. He says the same waters that brought power. Now, what will happen if the sea route is open? Then automatically there is always a possibility that people from other countries will come and attack you. Okay? There is always a possibility that savages and barbarians will travel from other places and they will come and attack you. So, what happened? This is exactly what happened, that many tyrant kings who ruled over these countries, they were destroyed by the sea. Now, try and understand this. It's not that they were actually destroyed by the waters of the sea, but this is how the sea promoted, or how the sea helped to bring about those savages and barbarians from different far off lands to come and attack these people, to come and attack these countries. So, what happened? When these barbarians, these strangers, these people, then when they came and invaded this place, they, means like these powerful countries of Assyria or Greece, they became slaves. The people became slaves. The countries became slaves. And they were forced to obey orders of these barbarians and savages that had come and attacked them through the sea route. So, what is he trying to say? Byron says that many kingdoms hence were destroyed. Many rulers were destroyed, and the sea, on the other hand, remained undisturbed, unchanged in its full power, in its full glory. So, then he says, so many realms have, been destroyed and they have become deserts. That once upon a time they were rich, They had lot of money, they had lot of power, but with passage of time, they were attacked, invaders came, things were destroyed, and now these countries remain no more. They exist no more. And instead, there are deserts where once there used to be beautiful cities, beautiful green cities, full of luxury, full of power, full of money, full of good things, full of the good life, but now they no longer exist. They have been converted into deserts. Then you are unchangeable. But what does he say? Not so thou, not so thou, but this is not the story as far as you are concerned, because you remain unchanged. You are as beautiful, as powerful as you were previously. And he says that when do you change? Save to thy wild waves play. Now, save, please understand the word save is not referring to savior. This means accept. Okay, so what the poet is saying is that except when your waves are rolling, it's only then that you change. This also we have talked about earlier, because when does the sea change? It changes with the tides. Okay, during the high tide, during the low tide, the speed of the waves, the strength of the waves, it changes, and only that change is what brings about, you can say, a change in the look of the ocean. So, what the poet is trying to say, that nobody has any power over the ocean. The ocean allows only its own waves to play on its surface and change its look. Nobody else has got that right. Nobody else has got that power to change the look, the beauty of the ocean. Then time writes no wrinkle on thy azure brow. Azure is reference to the color blue. Uh, the water itself does not have any color, it is colorless, but from far, due to refraction, due to the light effect, the sea appears to be having blue color. So here the poet says that you have a blue face, you have a beautiful blue face, and that face does not ever become old. Wrinkles, wrinkles is reference to the age lines. It is reference to the fine lines that develop on the face of human beings. All of us who are born are ultimately going to die. We are not going to live forever. And with the passage of time, we become older. And it is a natural process that as you become older, the age starts showing on your face. A person who is maybe young, 10 years old, 11 years old, 20 years old, the appearance of the skin, the appearance of the body is much different to how the face, the skin appears at the age of maybe 40, 50, 60. So with passing of time, the effect of age starts showing on your face. You start developing wrinkles. You start developing lines on your face. But the poet says, you, as far as the sea is concerned, as far as the ocean is concerned, it remains ever youthful. Time does not touch the ocean at all. It remains, its blue color remains absolutely perfectly blue, and not a single wrinkle, not a single age line is visible on the face of the ocean. Okay, and oceans, are many, many years old. They existed on this earth even before we were born, and it is going to exist on this planet even after we die. So many generations of human beings have come and gone, but the sea exists, the ocean exists, right? So this is what the poet is saying, that you will remain ever youthful, you will remain ever young, unchanged, such as creation's dawn beheld, thou rollest now. So, this is the beautiful line. This is what I'm trying to explain, has been said in this last line. The poet says that when the world was created, creation's dawn, this is reference to when this world, this planet Earth was created. At that time, you were born. At that time, the sea, the ocean was born. And till date, what does the poet say? Till date, you remain the same, such as creation's dawn beheld. Beheld matlab? Beheld means how you looked at the time when the world was made, when this planet was created. That look, and how you look now in the present times. At the present time, this poem is relevant even now in the year 2020 when we are reading this poem. It is relevant even now. The sea still remains unchanged, it remains huge. The waters still appear to be blue. There are vast tracts of the ocean. And when this world was created, at that time, the look of the ocean, how it looked at that time. Now, with passage of time, even in the present times, when you look at it, the look remains the same. The ocean remains unchanged. So the poet says, that you remain just the same. You roll on as you had rolled on at the time of your creation, at the time of the creation of this world, at the dawn of creation. So, as far as your being is concerned, as far as your vastness is concerned, as far as your power is concerned, as far as your beauty is concerned, as far as the kind of depth that you have, the kind of life that you give to human beings, the kind of life that you give to other animals and plants, that remains unchanged. Your power remains unchanged. Your beauty remains unchanged. While man comes and goes, while empires come and go, they are not permanent, but you are permanent. You are here to stay. So, this is what the poet has tried to explain in this paragraph. It's a beautiful paragraph. A lot of analogies have been used here, a lot of similes and metaphors have been used here, and that is what gives richness to the poem. And this is, I think, the fifth stanza that we have completed. So, we have done more than half the poem. This is a pretty long poem, so you'll have to keep patience. And but I'm happy to say that more than half the poem is completed today, and the next paragraph we'll be doing in the next video. A very good afternoon to all of you. I hope you have understood what I have tried to explain. Thank you once again for your patient listening. See you again. Bye bye. Good day.